Much like their characters, the sex education actors went through a lot during their childhood and teen years. Learn why Aimee Lou Wood developed eating disorders. Find out how Connor Swindells coped with suppressed anger. Discover what the biggest challenge for Ncuti Gatwa was, and why Emma Macke still suffers from anxiety.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be mad. Come.
The show's popularity takes its toll. Emma Macke was 22 when she booked the role of Tough Girl Maeve on the hit Netflix show. It was her first professional gig, and she was totally unprepared for such a fast rise to fame. "I didn't get into acting to become a celebrity because it's terrifying," shared Emma. "You'd have to be a complete sociopath to want to be a celebrity." She finds the hype around the series overwhelming, and surprisingly, it still hasn't become easier to deal with. Emma revealed that after the second season's premiere, she experienced even more anxiety about being in the public eye than before. "I don't know why, because I feel like I've never been more comfortable and more confident, but it's really taken me aback this time." And what adds to Mackie's frustration is the fact that people keep talking about her striking resemblance to Margot Robbie, especially in the first season of Sex Education when she was rocking pink-streaked blonde hair. Because it did actually remind us of Robbie's Harley Quinn, right?
All the people who know me well don't see it at all. It's funny, but I'll take it. I'm taking it, and I think she's amazing.
Well, of course, as an aspiring actress, Emma enjoys being compared to the Oscar-nominated Hollywood star, but it seems like fans only discuss their likeness, while Macke would prefer it if they focused on her acting. We hope that fans appreciate Emma's talent more now, since she's starred in 2 big-screen movies, the French drama Eiffel and the upcoming star-studded Death on the Nile. Now let's talk about her co-star, who had to battle stereotypes both on and off-screen. Resilience comes in handy. Just like Emma, Ncuti Gatwa had a hard time getting used to his fame. Sometimes when he notices strangers looking at him, it takes him a couple of seconds to remember he's on a Netflix show that airs around the world. And he loves his character Eric very much, especially because his arc on the show isn't just a conventional coming-out story. It's about him figuring out how he's going to walk in a world that's not always going to be nice to him. Gatwa has his own experience of that. He admits that he also felt isolated while he was growing up. His family fled Rwanda to Scotland as refugees when Ncuti was barely 3 years old. There were only a few black families in the whole of Edinburgh at the time.
I think when you see another black person, you're kind of like, oh my god, there's another one.
The boy definitely stood out and was an easy target in a state Scottish high school. And it didn't change as Gatwa grew older. "The amount of times I've almost been beaten up for saying I'm Scottish," he revealed. "People really can't understand the concept of a black boy being from Scotland." But Gatwa always had faith in his charisma. Fortunately, he is a super charming and resilient person. The actor credits this quality to his mother, who fought tooth and nail for her children and got through whatever hardship came her way. And speaking about hardships, the actor who joined the show in its second season definitely knows a lot about those. But we'll talk about his story a bit later. Right now, we move on to another actress who's no stranger to anxiety. Using art as therapy. Sex Education manages to speak about many important subjects, including mental health, and sometimes the actors themselves have first-hand knowledge of the issues. Tanya Reynolds did an excellent job of bringing quirky teen Lily to life. In real life, she's 10 years older than her character. However, she understands Lily perfectly. Tanya describes herself as also being awkward and jokes that the percentage of constant nervousness in her body is higher than her percentage of water. "I'm 90% anxiety," she explained. "It's common with actors because nothing is ever certain and you have very little control over so many elements of your life." Reynolds struggles with this a lot and tries to deal with it by being creative in any way she can. When she was a teenager, she got into photography as a way to express things that she was feeling but wasn't able to communicate fully. So when she wasn't feeling great, Tanya would pick up her camera to distract herself. Focusing on something physical actually became an effective kind of therapy for her. Later, she got into acting, which was a way for her to connect with people, and she also started writing. Currently, Reynolds is working on a short film about social anxiety. Her co-star Connor Swindells also prefers to let his work do the talking. A troubled childhood provides for raw honesty. Connor inhabited the role of the aggressive and deeply troubled Adam with unusual ease for a young actor. It turns out that the two have a lot in common. When Swindles was 7, he lost his mother to cancer. After that, he was tossed from relative to relative. Connor's relationship with his father wasn't as bad as Adam's, but the boy often felt unwanted and alone. To cope with his pain and anger, he turned to boxing. However, Swindles had to pay a high price for his hobby. He became so obsessed with keeping his weight down between fights that he developed an eating disorder. Connor skipped meals and ran every morning, which made his muscles waste away. As a result, at the age of 17, he was injured and forced to take a couple of weeks off. It made him realize that boxing wasn't what he wanted to do for the rest of his life. And despite having no formal training or previous stage experience, Swindles decided to pursue acting. Amazingly, his very first audition tape was so good that he soon got an agent, and roles in The Vanishing alongside Gerard Butler and on Sex Education. The troubles he had as a child helped him connect to Adam. In big social situations, I get quite withdrawn and shy, shares the actor. I'm only just starting to learn how to wrestle my way in and put my best foot forward. The Netflix show didn't only make Connor a star, but also helped him make friends among his cast members. For the past several years, he was dating Aimee Lou Wood, and although the two recently split, their breakup wasn't toxic in any way. Surprisingly, Aimee and Connor went through pretty much the same thing. Bullied for actual superpowers. Aimee had a turbulent upbringing, in part due to her father's addictions and subsequent erratic behavior, but also because Wood was tormented at school. Incredibly, she was bullied about her body and her teeth, the things that now inspire her fans. One of her classmates even called her Bugs Bunny. As a result, Aimee developed really low self-esteem. "I always used to say, I'll never get a job on TV because I'm too weird looking," she recalled. Wood became so obsessed with how she looked and went from one extreme to another. She suffered from anorexia and bulimia. However, after graduating from school, Aimee committed to therapy and got her disorders under control. Unfortunately, not everything can be treated successfully. Reinventing oneself is the key to survival. Although Isaac often uses his condition to his advantage, that wasn't the case for George Robinson. The actor is paraplegic in real life, and after his injury, he actually started questioning his place in the world. George was involved in acting when he was younger, taking part in school plays, but he also had another passion, rugby. When Robinson was 17, one of his games ended in tragedy. He broke his neck and lost mobility from his neck down. That was a blow, to say the least. After spending 37 days in hospital, George didn't know if he had a future anymore after his spinal cord injury. He wanted to continue pursuing acting, but was unsure if he wanted to put himself out there as a disabled actor. Fortunately, he found support from his family and people in a similar situation. Robinson reevaluated himself and realized that acting was the only thing that made him really happy. "I still wanted to be a part of that collaborative atmosphere," he shared. "Since then, it all kind of escalated, and now I'm in this Netflix show." The actor also revealed that playing Isaac has helped him become more confident and more self-assured. Although there's still one very sensitive issue for George: intimacy. He admits that it has been his personal worry since he got injured, but starring in a show that focuses on this aspect of relationships made it even more pronounced. "It's hard enough when you're growing up without a disability," shared Robinson. "But with a spinal cord injury, there's just another layer of difficulty." Robinson revealed that he did a lot of research and talked to people in similar situations. And eventually he realized that anything is possible in an understanding atmosphere. Apart from acting, George is also a painter.
You might not know about me is that I'm actually a trained contemporary artist.
You can have a look at the portraits of his co-stars on his Instagram. Although he posts them with the hashtag slightly shitty portraits, they're not bad at all, especially keeping in mind that George paints without using his hands. And guess which cast member is also into painting? It's Lino Faccioli, who plays a member of the quiz team, Dex. By the way, if you think his face looks familiar, you're not mistaken. Lino was one of the few whose characters made it out alive on the Game of Thrones series. And if you want more of Sex Education, watch our video on its behind-the-scenes secrets. Until next time, and stay awesome.